Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Marlows. I'm Mike.
I'm Anthony.
And we're the
Marlows. So, guess what day it is?
It's Pride First. as people like us would say.
It's Pride First because it's June. Woo! June 1st, June, which means Pride Month. So, yes, this episode is going to be all about gay stuff.
Okay, sure.
June Pride Month is really an exciting time for us because it's just a time for us to be free and express ourselves and not feel confined to, I guess, for lack of a better word, opinions of others or judgment of others. And normally, you're not supposed to feel that way anyway, but Pride Month gives us that out to really, really be ourselves openly. And
it's a shame that it's not a shame. It is what it is nowadays. You have a period of time where the world accepts you being who you are,
right?
And this month is our month to be unapologetically who we are,
right?
And let the gayness shine through. But
the cool thing about Pride Month is that, about Pride, the whole celebration and all that is not. It is for gay people to say, hey, we're here.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to be treated equally, have the same rights and privileges as everyone else. We don't want special treatment. Just like, don't kill us when you see us. Don't beat us up. Stop jumping and stop.
Just let us be.
Don't discriminate against us, in any aspect. And that's all it's about. But the cool thing about it is that it's an opportunity for everyone, not just gay people, straight people, bisexual people, Asian, black, white, Hispanic, Latino, but whatever you are, just it allows
take
you
a moment to be proud of who you are.
And just express it and say, hey world, here I am, and this is
here I is.
And of course it's all about loving who you like to love, who you want to love, and not
loving yourself too.
Yeah, loving yourself, which is the most important. But it's like the fact that you have to say, oh, it's okay for you to love this person. Like love is love is love is love is love is love. It doesn't matter. It's like you're not hurting anyone by loving someone. Or just being who you are and expressing yourself. I can't say that enough.
Yeah, because it's like you want to keep emphasizing it because it's like it's such a hard concept for people to understand or grasp or take hold to, but it's so basic and it's so simple. Just being who you are, loving yourself, and being able to love the person that you just so happen to love. Why not? Like, it ain't got no business, like, nobody's business. It's ours. So what?
So because it's Pride Month and it's the first day of Pride Month, we decided to address an issue. Well, not really an issue, but talk about not address it. Sorry, talk about something that maybe some people out there are wondering, and that's how we met.
Right.
How we ended up together.
How did we end up together?
Yeah, and I can tell you off gate, it was not in the cards. Well, we didn't think. I'm sorry. Apparently, it was in the cards, but it wasn't.
We weren't aware.
We weren't aware. Like, it was not something we were seeking out. We weren't seeking our relationship.
Right.
We weren't even at the time. We weren't even seeking being out. Like, we weren't seeking being out. Yeah. If that makes sense. We weren't seeking to be free and live a life together. It was like we met. It was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Let's see where this goes. But more than likely, it won't go anywhere because that's just not what our path.
Right. We were confident that our paths had different journeys, and it was just a different path altogether. Yeah. They were just totally different. And we, over the years that we've been together, the decade that we've been together, and some, that we had to embrace the path that was there for us. Like, we really tried. We tried a different pathway.
And life didn't get better until we stopped fighting.
Embracing.
We stopped fighting who we were and what we wanted, what we truly wanted out of life.
Right.
And if we had gone another route, we would not be as happy with ourselves. We would not be as free to be who we are, where we want to be, how we want to be, and without any explanations, And it's just, it's funny because it's been over 12 years now, and you could not tell me 12 years ago that we'd be in a relationship, living together. Oh, no, I'm sorry, we're married. Yeah.
Like, we're no longer shacking up and living in sin.
Not living in sin, right?
But that was the thing too.
Yeah, it was like that
because it was illegal.
So but we were together a while. Yeah. After it was legal too, we decided we just weren't ready. But it's it's very complicated. So we're gonna leave out a lot of things and just stick to the core of it and focus on us and our relationship, because for most people in our age group, being gay is not easy, and coming out is not easy,
and being black is not easy.
Right. So it's all of that. So you can imagine, and then also you already know we both grew up in the church, so you can imagine all those little things that had an impact on our experience But that will be saved for a later time.
Right.
We're going to try to save it for a later time.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be real, but we want to
Basically,
keep
if
this
you can imagine a hurdle, we had to jump it. So,
yeah, basically.
So go ahead.
How do we? So because it's complicated. Because you like we met, like we see each other in passing, but we didn't know each other. He actually knew my sibling. He knew my sister before he knew me.
Right.
So like he did.
I would say, I'll say the very first few times I remember seeing you, we'll start there. It's just at your apartment complex, and you were like, I think you said you were coming out from the gym or something. You were working out, and it just spoke. And the thing was, after seeing him around or whatever, he was just very clean cut, very well. He carried himself.
I'm not clean cut right now.
No,
I don't know. I had a short haircut.
You didn't look slap. Yeah, you know
everything. I didn't have all this yet.
It was just, he was just a very nice guy that looks like he didn't want for anything or whatever. It's just like he just had it really like he had his stuff together, and it was just and so I saw him and spoke, and when he responded, his response was so much more kind and genuine than just what I expected, just because of that whole stereotype of someone that's just they clean cut and nice looking. They travel in certain circles or whatever. It's like, why would he even speak? And so even at the very least, I was like expected oh hey, how you doing or whatever, and just kept moving. But he really took his time to stop and engage me, and that's how I was doing. I was like, and I remember walking away thinking, I was like, that was a lot nicer than what I was thinking. Not that I thought you was a mean person. It was just, again, you place stereotypes on people based on the way they look and when you see them in an environment that you
and
see
based on
them
people
in
your ear.
Yeah. I didn't know who you were. Like, nobody had gotten
no,
my ear
for a
yet.
long time. This is when we were in DC. For a long time, he didn't. But you said it was coming out of the apartment complex. But the funny thing is, for a long time, you thought I lived in Baltimore.
Right.
That was so funny. And then when you realized who my sister was, and somebody told me, "Oh, that's so and so's brother," and I was like, "No, it's not, because he lives in Baltimore." I'm like, "Where'd you get that from?" But yeah, you told me that you thought I came across way nicer than you expected, and I guess maybe at times I give that vibe off. I can be honest, I do give a vibe off like, don't speak to me, don't approach me, but I don't mean to, but it happens. But yeah, so that's still not even how we met, because we would see each other in passing, and then we ended up working together.
Right.
So it was like we started working together, and like for me, it was no shade at all. Please don't. But it was like no physical attraction there or anything like that. I just thought, okay, we're working together, fine. But then as I got to know him, I realized he was really smart. And in the environment we were working in the office, it was like nobody was listening to the smart people.
Right.
And so a lot of times we ended up working together
and solving major issues.
Anybody knows me, if someone who's really, really smart, that's like a real big turn on for me. Like it's because there's not a lot of smart people, I guess. I don't know, but I was really impressed with the way he thought and his intelligence. And then I started looking at him, was like, oh, he's actually attractive. He's not. He's
not that bad.
No, it wasn't even that. It was like, because remember when you moved up to DC, it was well after I moved up there, but you were kind of still fresh.
Yeah, I was still new.
Yeah, he was, and he moved up from Augusta, Georgia. So I'll just say that he moved up from Augusta, Georgia, so you can imagine what I was seeing. That came across. So I'm sorry. No,
how are you trying to dress up this term?
I didn't mean it like that. I mean, he was just Southern country guy, and
like, for anyone who knows about Augusta, Georgia, anyway, it's like, I mean, look it up. we have a peculiar style.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I guess it took a lot. I did take a liking to him, and then it just kind of grew from there. But it wasn't our intent to build on anything. We didn't even want to be together. Like, it was nothing like that. Especially in the workplace and all that stuff. We just was like, whatever. So it was like, we'll see where this goes, but more than likely, we'll end up separating. And catch this, was like, this is funny. Y'all gonna laugh. Y'all gonna laugh.
This was the plan.
This is hilarious. Our plan was to, once each of us found a young lady that was suitable for us, we'd just go that route, and then we'd be, if we had to be, we'd be each other's best man at the wedding or whatever, and call it a day.
And friends for life.
Friends, and that's it. Because I valued his friendship more, but in the circumstances we were in at the time, it was just not. We didn't see a way for us to be together, and it was like, no, we can't. I'm not gonna be with a guy, and like, no, like, and it's like, and at the time it's like, and let's mind you, we weren't each other. I think we each other's first real boyfriend. Yeah, okay, I never really had a boyfriend for him. I talked to dudes, whatever, but I didn't really I've never had a relationship with a guy, And of course, we both had our experiences with men, but more so, it was just like
brand new.
It was still kind of brand new. Like we weren't even really out there like that. Once we got together, it was like, oh yeah, we're out and we're great. But it was fun to be together like that. But prior to that, we didn't do too much. We were very, very discreet about stuff. Yeah,
and I know also for me at least, it was also when you said people are in your ear, it was like being told, well, this is just a phase, or you grow out of that or whatever. So you're taught or you're programmed, okay, this is not.
It's not even natural. So
right,
you know,
so
I can grow out of this. It's like
right.
It doesn't make sense. Even though prior to we had our own experiences, individual experiences separate from each other, and it's just
at the end of the day, that was not the plan that was meant to be.
Yeah,
we were not meant to go separate ways and get married and be each other's best and then each other's wedding.
Yeah,
like that.
I can't imagine that now.
Right.
But I mean, and it was like we had both just been taught that we didn't want to disappoint our families and the embarrassment, and then of course because we said we're heavily involved in church and things like that, it was like nah. But
it was not in the cards.
Yeah.
But like he said, I guess he found me to be way more intelligent or smarter than what I initially put on, more than what he knew, I guess I would say.
Well, I didn't know you, so I'm not gonna say you didn't give off anything. I just didn't know, like you don't.
And then for me, it's like once we got to know each other and working, like there was long, late nights working on stuff. And again, I emphasize figuring out complicated problems because it's like you're working on something that's really important and just other people's lives were in the balance there. You had to really do things the right way. So we were really spending a lot of time working together, and I'm realizing I can just be myself. I can just be who I am if I just the weird, quirky randomness. Some of the people who know me really well know I can be extremely random at times.
And extremely weird. Like, it makes no sense.
Right, just completely odd. And sometimes you just have to kind of like ignore that, or it's a sign as to whatever I'm trying to communicate. But in his case, he understood it, and it didn't run him away, or he didn't make me feel any type of way by my little weirdisms or quirks and stuff. So when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, this is like one of the only people I've ever met, friend or not just people in general, that have been able to look at me and embrace my quirks and be like, okay, that's cool.
So, I didn't have, it was funny because I didn't have any complaints about him, and especially in the beginning. It was just really like we had no arguments or anything. It was kind of weird at first. It was so weird that when we got in our first argument, Mike was so relieved. He was like, oh, we had an argument. Yay, we got our first argument. Woo! Right. Like, okay, weirdo. But I was like, I preferred it this way before, but I get what you're saying. If there's never any problems, like nobody's being honest.
Like at some point in time, you express the stuff that, you're not the same person. And you got two men that come into a relationship together. You got to learn how to live with someone. And people's upbringings are different, so we had to adjust to each other the way we were raised up.
We learned a lot from each other. It's just amazing. It's been a crazy 12-year journey, and it was like nothing we planned for or expected or was trying to have. We weren't trying to have a relationship. We weren't trying to be together. It just happened.
Right.
And eventually things happened, and we ended up being together, and people knowing and finding out basically, and it just is what it was what it was, is what it is. And then it's like, okay, well shoot, fine. And it's funny because looking back on it, the reasons why we were the way we were is because again, the way we were brought up in a society and everything, and we realized we were homophobic homosexuals. Homophobic closeted homosexuals. And it's like, because you try not to, like, anytime you see like a person that's like real like adamant about, more so a guy who's really adamant about not being around gay people, or that's gay, or this is gay, or whatever, more than likely he's hiding something. It's like he has a really bad insecurity, or he's very insecure about his sexuality. I'll say that. I'm not gonna say every time, but a lot of times that is the case. And we know that because we were once those people. And so it was like there was certain stuff we didn't do, certain places we didn't go, certain things we just didn't participate in. And it's like now it's like we did a whole 180. Because last year, not last year, 2019, the last big pride celebration, World Pride, was 50 years. And mind you, we were center front in the parade,
smack in the middle of the street, 7th Avenue, West Village, flags flying, and
we wearing little to nothing.
Right.
And like, it was so funny because I said to Mike, you couldn't tell me that this would be us, not let alone 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And it's just like, it's something about being able to be yourself and being free and loving who you are. It's like there's nothing greater.
It's a very freeing experience.
It's very freeing
to be in a situation where you can just be you. I mean, just again, it feels like we keep saying the same thing over and over again. It does sound
repetitive,
but redundant. It is such a very simple concept. If you've ever been able to experience that feeling, and just it's liberating, it's freeing, and then it's such a huge charge to your emotional and mental battery. Like, you should seek to find those moments when you can just be free. And for us, 2019 Pride Parade, New York City, that's exactly what it was. It was such a freeing moment. Really good.
The whole journey of us, I guess, progressing or changing or whatever, evolving to who we are now, from those homophobic closeted boys, gay, whatever. It's just, I've learned a lot, because now the things that I can't say can't tolerate, but it's like I try to correct people or let them know that's not right. For instance, I was talking to a person and they are on the DL, which is, I don't have any qualms about someone being discreet on the DL, because I don't know your circumstance, I don't know your life, I don't believe in outing people or anything like that. But there's certain things that people in those situations or on those phases of their life say, like dog whistles that we say, like, society or media to call it dog whistles. And he says, I don't really have gay friends, I don't hang around gay people because, they're just so dramatic. Right. And I'm like, dramatic, that's keyword or dog whistle word for, they just too gay, they sissy, it's all this drama. And, but there's drama in every society, every cultural group of people, or however you want to section it off. There's drama everywhere, but I don't like stuff like that, because it took time for me to realize that if it wasn't for those sissies, those queens, those drag queens, those transgender people really, walking out of their door in public, being who they are, we wouldn't have the liberty we have to just be able to be out and be free and hold hands or be show public displays of affection and all that stuff. It's because of those people. It's like, so I have more respect for a drag queen, a transgender person, a sissy, a queen,
some loud queen,
whatever you want to call them. I have more respect for them than a person who is still closeted,
afraid to be themselves.
And afraid to be themselves. Like, don't come to me with that. They're more of a man than you are. At least they're being who they are, and they're letting them, here I am. This is what I am. Take it or leave it. I love myself, whether you love me or not. And I just have very low tolerance for people who have those type of views. Like, I don't do that. That's if you're not into that gay shit, or whatever you want to call it, that's your preference. But don't judge other people for it. And then it's just as simple as that. And I'm not ashamed to say I was like that at one point. I'm not ashamed to say. Sorry, I am ashamed to say, but I'm not afraid to say that I was that guy for a long time.
Because truth be told, that was the phase that I know we both had to grow out of. When they talk about, it's just a phase. That was a phase of just being very judgmental and just rude or mean to people just because. And it's like, at the end of the day, this person is, more of a man than you are, because they're just standing up being who they are. Right. Like, they, so respect them.
But it goes back to, again, society and how you're raised, how you're brought up, religion, all that stuff. It's like, it's taught you, it's wrong, and you're dissuaded from that. And you don't hear at least when we grew up, there was nothing positive about being gay. Like, there weren't gay characters on TV. There weren't gay, not like as readily available. There were gay movies that I didn't know about them, and when you did hear about people talking about gay people, it was like, sissy, this, and really derogatory terms, and told it, it was just, you didn't want to grow up and be that person. So, for years, I tried to pray the gay away. Didn't work. And the funny thing is, now that I am more free about my sexuality, it's like, I feel more free and open to do other things, whether that's sexually or whatever. Like, I can be with a girl. We haven't been with girls before, because we were playing that role for a long time. But still, there's still an attraction to, like, for me, all types of people. Like, not just men, but men of all colors versus not just women, but women of all colors. And there's certain features and things. Not saying I want to go full throttle and have a whole, one night stand with a woman, but I could do some things with them and play with them. But it's not. But it hasn't. But it's like, because I've accepted who I am. It's like, okay, am I gay? Yeah, I'm gay, but I like doing other stuff. But who cares? Who cares about labels? Just be who you are. Be free. Love yourself. Don't hurt anybody in the process.
Yeah, like what we said at the very beginning, where this is Pride Month, and it's not about being gay. It's about being proud to be who you are. Once you figure out who you are, and you can be prideful of who you are, and what makes you who you are, you can embrace other people and get to know them for who they are, and then you can really enjoy them. Like you can have fun with people, and then just have good, genuine time.
Good time, good conversations.
Right. Because all the judgment is out the window, because you are who you are. This person is who this person is, and y'all are just enjoying the best of each other.
And it's all love.
It's all love.
It's all love. But did we really give enough information when we met? Let me see. Yeah, we met at work, just friends, or it's just called colleagues. Became friends, turned more.
Yeah.
And that's just.
And that's really it. I mean, it's not a brand new story or anything like that. To sum it up, we met each other at work and worked a lot with each other, got to know each other, and we just stuck. And I guess that's where the love started to grow and build, because we didn't know it. We weren't looking. I know for a fact I wasn't looking to be in a relationship with anyone. I was really trying to run away from it. So it's like, you get, caught hold to me, or we caught hold of each other, and we just, love didn't let go. And I'm glad.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about this part. It's because, like we said, we see each other in passing in the setting we're in. We saw each other passing a lot, and when we started working together, he was already working where we ended up working. I came in afterwards. So prior to that, one of his jobs was, dealing with technical stuff, IT, audio, visual, things like that. And some of the things that places he was working for, they were doing, he was the one working with the audio visual, I'll say.
Oh, I was the videographer.
Okay.
That was my role in this story. Yes, I'm the videographer.
But
my job is to capture video.
He captured video and not be at some of the events.
Right.
And you said what he did, I never noticed because I'm not the videographer. Right. But I did notice, like, at times I would look up and there he was. I was like, who's this little person looking at me? And I said little person because I didn't know him. I knew his face, but I figured he was not from DC. So I would see him sometimes. I was like, okay, there he is again. He's looking. I was like, oh God. And then my sister knew him well prior to me, but it was like my sister thought he liked her. Yeah. So one time, me and my sister was talking on the phone. Was like, we gonna need to figure out which one of us he liked, which one of us he wanted. Yeah. But I don't. But you told me.
I told you that while I was in my recording booth or wherever I was, usually on a perch for whatever reason, recording the events and things like that. I would see him, and then I was like, I'd be intrigued, so I'd zoom in. And so for sections of these people's tape, it'll be his face zoomed in, because I'm trying to get closer to see what he looks like, what he's wearing, or I'm just intrigued. Or there were a couple times where I just wasn't paying attention. I'm supposed to be recording something else, and I'm just following him as he walks across. I'm like, oh no.
Sorry.
Sorry about it. So sorry. There were a few. That's how I learned to edit, because no one ever knew.
Yeah. So, but. I mean, well, that's kind of cute. I do. I'm sorry. I do like hearing that story, because it means that you
no, I was intrigued.
You saw it and all that good stuff. So.
Sometimes you tell the story basically I snatched what I wanted, and it's not really what it was. But
I mean, I remember seeing him one time, and I was like, at one point I noticed him in a different light, and I was like, huh. I don't think I wouldn't mind calling him, if he's my boyfriend or whatever. And it was weird. I was like, ooh, that was weird, And it's just. But the funny thing, there's a funny story about your name, because I told you, I said I've always liked the name Michael. Mm-hmm. And even when I was young, for some reason, I was like, well, if I was like a teenager at the time in high school, like probably about to graduate, and I was like, for some reason, if I ever ended up with a guy, I would like his name to be Michael. I really like that. Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good name. And it's just weird, because, yeah.
I guess it's like those things in other episodes we talk about how you can manifest things.
I wasn't trying to, because I tried to pray it away.
Well, here I am. I am here.
Here I am.
You've done good.